a woman is not supposed to be having a climax.
What?
Any woman that's
But
having
he
a
gay.
climax is becoming a man. That's why a woman has to make herself do it, where a man does it naturally.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a new video on my channel. I hope it won't be hard to grab your attention with this video since the climax of my jokes are at the beginning. This video, I can't. I'm sorry. Those are bad. I'm a mom now, but I'm making dad jokes. This video is about my dear friend, Jesse Lee Peterson. He's just so amazing. I found a couple, Curtis and Dinah Wilson, that are sort of similar to Paul and Morgan. They are very religious, they have a biblical approach to things, and they have this sort of hierarchy where the man leads the woman kind of thing. I don't agree with it, but we're gonna move past it because in comparison to Jesse Lee Peterson, they seem extremely wise. And honestly, they seem like nice people. A lot of their reactions to what he says are hilarious, but never in my life did I think I would see Jesse Lee Peterson talking about a woman's climax. And not only talking about a woman's climax, but that if she does, she's like a man. Only men can have pleasure. He asks his standard, like, are you the head of your wife? Does she obey you? Yeah, all the things we saw with Paul and Morgan, he repeats with this couple.
Are you the head of your wife?
Yes.
We're just gonna jump right in there.
What?
Yes, he is.
And when you say, yes, I am the head, what do you mean? Does she obey you?
Well, you know he's got to ask it more than once.
It depends on.
Depends on what time of the month
It's
it
like
is.
this. Listen. I'm the spiritual head of my wife.
Yes.
You know.
Right.
And of course, Jesse Lee Peterson takes this as an answer and stops asking the same question over and over again, right? Right.
And so does she obey you?
Good Lord, I didn't answer the question.
Not yet.
Not satisfactory. Must ask again and again and again.
Not in like some kind of, I'm King Henry VIII type thing, and you just do what I say do. But especially when it comes down to the,
What makes you have to explain it that way? What is happening that caused you to think you need to explain that?
Because if you just leave it where you're saying, does she obey you? It kind of leaves it open-ended.
I really appreciate what this man's trying to say. He's trying to say that you can't be like a dictator or a monarch over your wife, and that Jesse Lee Peterson should understand that, but it just cannot compute.
If it's like this thing where the husband is just like, you just do what I say do, and that's
Right.
it, period, that's
What's wrong with that?
That's problematic. I mean, Christ doesn't.
You have to regard her opinion or her thoughts or her input.
I can't. What's wrong with that? I can't even think of a thing.
To take into consideration the heart of your wife is not a bad thing.
So do you obey him?
Okay. The frustration is building in me. I need a way to release it. And with that, I would like to thank Adam and Eve for sponsoring this video. If you guys go to adamandeve.com, you can use my name, Jaclyn, Jaclyn, as a code at checkout to get 50% off any one item and free shipping, which is a sweet deal. Listen, I just did an unboxing for them. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Please click on it because it is amazing. It's amazing. And it was Christmas themed, and there was lingerie, and there were so many amazing things that I really think you should check out. I think you would really enjoy watching my video. It was a fun one. It was a really actually epic unboxing, I will say that. I really freaking love Adam and Eve, and you know what I love even more? Doing an Adam and Eve sponsorship on a video like this, because I know Jesse Lee Peterson doesn't think women should even climax. It's ridiculous. I cannot even. Without Adam and Eve, I don't know, the hell would just come out of a lot of women, Jesse,
How does he deal with you, like, when the hell comes out? You know how sometimes women wake up mad about nothing.
When the hell comes out.
He is so misogynistic. I can't even believe that there's a human being that exists that truly thinks this way. It boggles the mind.
I think I read that you're older than your husband, right?
I am.
It's by a little bit.
How many years?
3 years.
Wow.
Wow! Most adults, especially when you reach their age, do not care about 3 years, but you can really tell a lot about Jesse Lee Peterson. He has a very childlike mentality with a lot of things. So for him to think, oh my God, 3 years, it's hilarious to me and actually brings a lot of insight.
Did you know that a man should never, ever, ever, but never, ever, ever, but never marry an
Don't
older
you say
woman?
that. Don't
Man,
you say that.
please.
That's
You
like
stop
marrying
it.
your mama.
Oh, stop.
Please.
Ain't that right?
No, that's not right.
Shame the devil, huh?
That is not right at all.
Never ever, like never ever ever, like never ever 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 did a cougar.
The reason, women are very cunning, and they, you know what I mean? And so they mature in that way quicker than a man. So a man can be caught up in a web from a woman and not even realize.
I'm just fascinated by Jesse and his need to have himself be in a position superior to women, whether it be in age because he thinks women mature quicker, or in his belief that women should not have an education or even be able to vote. He is just so insecure as a human being and as a man that he feels he needs this established position of superiority to be valuable.
I noticed that women that know the Bible, they're into the Word,
Okay.
they are worse than the woman that's not in the Word. They're meaner.
Why you say
Where you
that?
notice
more
that at?
sex, and they are
They're meaner and
Control.
what? Wait, they're meaner and what?
having sex and doing all that. Why don't the Word change them? Since they know the Word.
This is really interesting. I remember seeing him say this to Paul and Morgan as well, and thinking that it must be a mistake or something, because I'm like, there's no way Jesse would view me, a woman who obviously is not religious, as superior to religious women, because of course he is someone who believes in God, so why would he place a higher value on me as opposed to someone who's religious? That to me is still very confusing and weird. But, hey, I'll take what I can get as my heathen atheist self sits over here.
A whole
Immoral sex going
whole lot
on
of
in
sluts in
marriage.
church.
I mean, in churches
See,
and things like that.
see, you had to go there, huh?
What? You
That
said
was
it,
the
I
words
didn't.
you said in
But-
Ramona.
What did I say?
I'm not saying that.
What did I say?
Yeah, you said it.
He
What?
said
The
it.
S word.
You know what you
What's the
said.
S word?
No
Look at
word.
you. He said
We
sluts.
ain't-
We heard him.
Yeah,
But-
there are a whole lot of sluts.
Yeah, but you know what?
All
but
in
you
the
know what?
name.
But
He loves to throw that word around. It's very weird.
also
that.
a whole bunch of, if you want to use the word, male sluts too.
Slut makers.
Slut makers. But
Men
you know,
are slut makers and women are sluts.
But you know
Why
why?
can't a man be
But
a
You know
slut,
why?
too?
Because there's
because
a lot of
women
people.
use sex as a drug to control the man.
As funny and comical as this is, it is hard for me to view it completely as a joke, because in my own upbringing it was very much favored even towards the men there, where they could do no wrong. Any temptation they faced was the fault of the woman. She should have worn more. If she did this, she wouldn't have been objectified, and it was always the fault of the woman. And it was just this almost excuse for a lot of men to behave in a way that was inappropriate. And I know that Jesse's not exactly doing this, but by saying that there's a difference between sluts and slut makers, it is very clearly putting a distinction between men and women, in that men simply are the victim of women doing all these horrible things, because as Jesse has previously stated, women are devil worshippers and men are of God. And this is just, it is comical. I'm not going to try to take that away. It's funny. Almost everything he says is funny because he is who he is. But there is an underlying current here that is a real problem and pretty prevalent in religious culture. I know that because I experienced it growing up, where really, truly, men can do no wrong, and any wrong they do is the fault of a woman.
Did you know that women were sluts and men are slut makers?
No,
That's a new
that's a
one,
new revelation, Jesse.
Oh, it is?
Thank you.
What did you call it?
I don't receive it, but
What
I
about when the
appreciate
scripture
you.
calls them?
I need to learn a little bit of the grace this woman has. She's like, thank you for this terrible thing you just said. I don't receive it, but thank you. I don't have that skill. That I commend you. That's not a talent I possess.
It was a gift from
It's
God.
just to make a baby.
No,
What?
no. If it was
Okay,
just
I got a question
okay.
for you on
It
that.
should be just bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, go to sleep.
Then that's
AdamandEve.com. Check them out. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and go to sleep. I'm sure that is the product of many, many a healthy marriage, which explains a lot why he is himself not married.
answer this question then. I need you to answer a question,
Yes.
Jesse. Why did God give male and female, as long as everything is generally okay, health-wise,
Right.
why did he also give them, what's the word?
The ability
to
to have
enjoy,
pleasure.
have pleasure in the midst of marriage, if it's just wham, bam, thank
Yeah,
you,
I-
man.
So interesting. He's like, why do women have the physiological capability of essentially reaching orgasm if they are not meant to. And Jesse answers with eloquence.
God give men
Good
and women
question.
pleasure. If
He-
it's just wham bam, thank you, man.
Because he allowed the fall to happen so that they could wake up in emotional state.
Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Thank you. I don't receive it, but thank you.
And once they get married, make all the babies they can make, then they should stop having sex and return to the father.
You know what, I'm gonna say this, and I feel almost mean saying it, but it's pretty good that Jesse Lee Peterson never found a wife. And it's not that I want anybody to be alone or unhappy in life. It's that I truly feel like he would make any woman completely miserable.
She has a climax.
Right.
Why?
Because-
it's unnecessary if it's just for procreation.
Because she's been turned away from God, and her anger awakened that emotional and that false
to
emotion
make
feel
her
like
want to have a
love.
climax.
I got one more question for you. Then.
Yeah, I will tell you, of all the emotions I feel at that point, anger is not one of them. I mean, I'm just feeling pretty stoked in the moment. I'm not trying to overshare. I'm just not mad about it.
No.
A woman is not supposed to be having a climax.
What?
Any woman that's
But
having
he
a
gave-
climax is becoming a man. That's why a woman has to make herself do it, where a man does it naturally.
Which camera do I
God
look
bless
into,
you.
Jesse? Which one? Which one? I can't see it. Which one? That one right there?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
Lord.
do not agree with that.
Good.
A woman has, what? I'm sorry, I'm just having a revelation right now. A woman has to make herself, and a man can do it naturally. That means Jesse knows he can do it himself naturally, and in his experience, a woman has to make herself, which means he can't make her. So if he were to have ever in his life, I'm not even sure that this has happened, but if he were to have ever in his life had sex with a woman, and he was able to and she wasn't, he would say it's because he could naturally do it. And maybe the unsatisfied partner of Jesse had to achieve it on her own after the fact. Then, you know, that maybe that's what he's reflecting on, which is just, I'm sorry, Jesse, that's sad.
No,
Am I wrong about that?
Yes.
Am I wrong about it?
You're
Yes.
wrong.
Sexual.
That's not scriptural, is
What's
what
the
I'm saying.
purpose of a woman having a climax?
That's what I'm asking you.
Right, and
Because
she
God
becoming a
made,
man.
because God
There is
made
no
it.
purpose.
Because
I
God
say
gave-
because
because
God gave it.
it's a gift
so
from
that we
God
could
for also
enjoy one
enjoying-
another.
The only purpose for the man to do it is to put that sperm
Procreate,
in you so
right?
you could get pregnant.
Right.
There's no reason for a woman to do it. What the?
Because
All right, I hate to be that person, but if we're talking about logistics here, let's level with each other. Obviously, it's required by a man to impregnate a woman. I do believe that things exist in life not because of God, but because they are beneficial in an evolutionary perspective. And if you look at it like that, I do believe that there is an evolutionary benefit to a woman reaching climax. There are contractions that happen that could move sperm right all along. I do think that helped me in my own personal experience of getting pregnant. TMI? Nah. And now let's get into the part where Jesse Lee Peterson cuts off a conversation and completely changes the subject to something totally irrelevant in a very awkward way.
Satan is about pleasure, not God.
What?
And anyone who's
He has
into-
pleasure and knows who are his. Yeah.
Do you have anger?
I do.
Do you have anger?
Wow, that was great. Now let's cut to the part where he asks it 100 million more times.
I do.
Do you have anger?
From time to time, yeah.
Do you have anger?
I guess so.
Do you have anger?
I don't live in it, but I have it.
Do you have anger?
Sometimes.
Do you have anger?
Man, sometimes.
You either have it or you don't. Do you have it?
No,
do.
that's not true.
This is the part where Paul and Morgan were just really, really trying to suppress their anger, and Paul was like, yeah, I got some anger. He didn't say that, but I inferred it.
Jesse, okay, you're gonna have to do me a favor. You
it
gotta
makes you feel
gotta
good
back
and it
up
makes
what
you
you
feel
just
bad.
said with
No.
one scripture.
Okay.
You gotta back
Yeah.
up what you just said with
Please.
one scripture. Give me one.
God is not about pleasure. He's not into the emotion.
What scripture
He
is
allowed
that?
that to happen so men and women can come together.
Wording, Jesse Lee Peterson. I agree, though. I do agree that men and women should come together.
God is a dispassionate God. He's not a passionate God.
Where'd you get that from?
But the
Jesse,
woman would tell
Jesse
you
chapter
that.
1, verse 2?
Read the New Testament.
the
You'll
book
see.
of Jesse? Where'd you get that
Read
from?
the New Testament. You'll see.
Read the New Testament and you'll see. Again, I'm going to have to reference my video where he had a conversation with Paul and Morgan, where he openly admits and actually says that the Bible is not something that he reads, nor that he thinks people should have to read it. So it's very interesting for me to see him quote scripture when it's clearly not something that he thinks is all that important. Now he starts to get into talking about how women shouldn't have any roles in leadership at all, inside the church or out.
They're bringing the woman into the matter with them.
Right.
They're having women counsel. They're having women preaching in churches. They're having women doing the podcast and giving out advice. What made you decide to let your wife work with you?
I knew it.
He wanted to know why this man even allowed his wife to be a part of this podcast that is about relationships.
Because it's a marriage podcast.
Mind blown that a guy with a wife would want his wife to be on his podcast about marriage, because there are two people in a marriage.
Should a man ever marry an educated woman?
Her face, priceless.
Should a woman have the right to vote?
Yes.
What do you say to that? Should a woman have the right to vote?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Amazing.
Should they not?
Amazing.
Should they not?
No.
Of course he thinks that. Of course he doesn't think a woman should be able to vote. He doesn't even think she should be able to climax, much less vote.
What?
Because they're illogical and emotional, and they make decisions based on that. That's
know
why a
you-
woman is
you know
up
you-
and down.
You know I
I'm
can't say
sweating.
low key. I said you know you
I'm
high key
sweating.
chauvinist, right?
What do you mean?
Chauvinist, misogynistic, woman hater, all the things.
You know you're really high key a chauvinist, right?
What's a chauvinist?
You know what a chauvinist is. You know what a chauvinist
What,
is.
like what? What is it really?
No, you don't know what a chauvinist is?
No.
I think you do.
I really don't.
I
I'm black
really-
and slow. I really don't.
That is not
Stop
true.
it.
You
Stop
stop
it.
it.
They're giving him the benefit of the doubt of understanding what words mean, but I truly believe he doesn't understand that, along with a lot of other things. I don't think that Jesse Lee Peterson understands a lot of things.
Before we end this thing, I'll put you on the hot seat. Is there anything, you've heard my show, right? You both heard it?
Yes.
Is there anything, one thing because of time, that you disagree with me on?
Almost everything.
Almost everything, and that says a lot. They are a very religious couple. Now, I really tried to edit through this. It was a long interview with them. It really was. But I will leave the link to the full thing in the description below. You can watch it if you want. I just want you to bear in mind, even though, similar to Paul and Morgan, even though I defended them in this, and I continue to defend them, they did say a lot of things that I still disagree with. They still do have that mentality of the hierarchy where the man leads the woman. I really hope that this is something that kind of gets phased out in religious couples. I think it would be beautiful for particularly the men, because they're the ones trying so hard to claim like power or some sort of weird superiority over women. I think it would be nice if the men were like, we don't need that to feel like a man. We don't need that to feel empowered. And we want to elevate our wives and lift up our wives and have women in the world be in positions of leadership. And we don't need to have a hierarchy of woman, man, God. That we are the same and we both together try to reach whatever religious understanding we both have. I mean, that would be beautiful to me. I understand that people who are religious hold this ideology near and dear to their heart, but I hope that just reconsider, reevaluate it a little bit, and understand that you truly are putting yourself above women, above your wife, above the person that maybe you love more than anybody else in the entire world, your wife. You are placing yourself above her. In some way, you truly are. By saying that you are the leader, that she obeys you, that type of thing should not exist. It should be 100% in both directions, a 50-50 supportive, loving partnership. True equality has no hierarchy. And I hope at some point married couples that are in love and religious can understand that and give more of a balance. There is no obedience in a partnership. And on that note, I will go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it everywhere. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and also consider checking out my vlog channel, youtube.com/JaclynVlogs, or just searching Frank Family Vlogs on YouTube. I am so thankful to all of you being here, and if you want to watch my Thanksgiving vlog, I will have that on that channel, and I will link it below. It was really cute. Amazing. All right, I'll quit rambling. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.